But if there's a reason that you can serve other people at that level, you get started, there is a path to that. But so long-winded answer, but I think people write off their own stories because they lived them.
This is the Game Changers Experience. Deep dive conversations with leading business disruptors, Olympic athletes, celebrities, entrepreneurs, and influencers from around the world. This show will teach you insights about the winning principles in mindset, productivity, marketing, branding, entrepreneurship, business strategy, and more. Hosted by Productivity Authority, business strategist, former elite athlete, author, and public speaker, Adam Strong.
What do you think from experience, Nick? Where do you think they get it wrong in terms of storytelling? Where do you think they get it wrong?
I touched on it earlier, but I'll make it more obvious now. It's that most everyone feels like, number one, that they've lived their story, so they think it's obvious to everybody else. So we just think everyone knows because, I might have told. Look, I've been on, I don't know how many hundreds of podcasts now, and I've told that's, my sort of origin story in different ways. Sometimes I leave out some details, sometimes bring in more, something, whatever. But there's how many millions of people have still never heard that? But I've said it so many times, I feel like the world should know it. So I make the mistake of assuming the world knows it from the time I meet somebody new. The other one is that because I lived it, it wasn't that big of a deal. So, if you are a doctor, most doctors are like, yeah, I'm a doctor. I went to med school. That's what you do. But because that was like the barrier to entry just to get in the door was you had to do that. But the rest of the world is pretty impressed. Like you had to do all these residencies and fellowships and go to school. So we take our own story for granted. And when you look back at your life, there's typically, if we're going to get into therapy here, what I would say is you basically would start write down 10 or 20 events in your life that were positive and negative, maybe 10 positive, like highlights, and 10 negatives. And I would say if you were to go through a list like that, the fact that you remember them is a big deal. They are in your subconscious, whether you talk to them regularly or not. Like I remember as clearly as yesterday, a third grade teacher telling me I was stupid because I couldn't remember math multiplication problems. Like I remember it like yesterday, and I've forgiven her now, I think. But I know that part of that drove me to show the world I'm not stupid. I have something to offer, right? So when you go through these experiences, they marked you, both positively and negatively, but you can use them all for the positive. But everything that you've been through is what led you to the moment you're in and the career you're in and the people you can help. So if you're willing to talk about if you were an alcoholic or you got divorced or you hated school or whatever it is, those are things that will connect you to other people because there'll be people like, man, yes, that is my person. I wasn't sure I could really, I wasn't sure there would ever be a dentist that would understand me, or a brain surgeon, or a business consultant. And it's by connecting those human moments. So I would say that we all write off our own story because we lived it. So we lived it day by day, year by year. It's not a big deal to us. I've worked with so many high performers that, thankfully they aren't drinking their own Kool-Aid to some extent. They're not like, oh, I'm really important. You get some of those people, not many of them, like the Mark Cubans, the Richard Bransons. I mean, these people like Lisa Nicklaus, like amazing people, but it's just like, that's just what they do. I would say, I was interviewing Tony Robbins, not to name drop, but I do love Tony. But Tony said, human beings desire progress. Like we need progress. Like if you're not moving forward, you feel like you're moving backward. And so when it takes a while to create the type of momentum to be able to do the things on that level, they don't normally just pop up overnight. I mean, every now and then someone might win a lottery or something, but really everything you are leading to is pretty much sequential. But to build the momentum to play on that level, but once you get to that level, it's sort of just another day. I mean, Tony Robbins is talking to another world leader every day because that's what he's been working up to for the last 50 years of his life. And so we often write that off, and we often think that we can never get to that level. But we can. We just have to have to understand. You have to really want to, and there has to be a reason. You can say, I want to be famous, or I don't subscribe to that. But if there's a reason that you can serve other people at that level, you get started, there is a path to that. But so long-winded answer, but I think people write off their own stories because they live them.